Call meeting order for the Ashland Board of City Commission. If you will rise, we'll ask Commissioner Gooden to do our invocation, and if you would do our pledge.
Let us pray. Lord, we thank you for your blessing on our city and for your continued watch care over us. We ask and invite your Holy Spirit to enter our chambers and preside over our meeting today. Bless this board of mayor and commissioners with your wisdom and guidance as we strive to do city business in the best interest of our community and its citizens. Bless our city manager, our staff and employees, and those in attendance today. We pray always in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Wirtz, and Commissioner Goot, thank you. Motion to receive and file the agenda presented.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to file the minutes that are for the regular meeting March 12th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any corrections, additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into our hearings. Commissioner Martin, we'll start with you today.
Just two things, and try to be brief. We would like to express our support and overwhelming sympathy to the family of Brooklyn Johnson, whose life was lost in the East Ashland fire, 13-year-old child. Tragic, tragic loss. We thank the fire department for their efforts in fighting the fire, and it was a terrible, terrible experience. And I also like to thank the Ashland Police Department for the tremendous investigative work, uncommonly good investigative work that took a dangerous criminal off our streets, and such quick and effective work. And please express our thanks to the folks that were involved. I know they were tireless in their efforts and did a great job. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Martin, we'll adjourn our meeting today in honor of Brooklyn.
Good, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Goot.
I just want to welcome everybody today. We had a ribbon cutting on Melody Mountain with the new Taco Bell, and we were all in attendance. And I want to make mention we have a pancake breakfast coming up. Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast this Saturday at First Baptist, which is Legacy Church now. What time's that start, Mayor?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Will you be
7 to
flipping?
12, I'll be there.
You be flipping pancakes?
I'll be flipping pancakes.
Okay. Our annual Easter egg hunt will be in Central Park on April 4th, the day before Easter, from 1 to 3. And last order of business, go Reds.
All right.
That's all
All
I have.
right. Commissioner Reimer?
Yeah, so I want to welcome everybody to today's meeting. I want to echo the sentiments from Commissioner Martin about the tragedy, those affected by the fire. I want to thank our public service and our public safety, our police and our fire that were there. Those folks go in danger every day, and it's something that, you know, our community should be proud of, that we have professional police and professional firefighters. So my thoughts and prayers are with the family of those affected.
Commissioner Renfro?
I echo each of our commissioners up here on the fire and police departments. Starting with the police department, yeah, we got a long time known criminal off the streets. I've been retired for almost 10 years now, and I remember him. And the fire department, I just, you know, it's a tragedy for the families. I feel so much for them, but we also have to think about the firemen that found the child. And we spent a lot of time and resources in the east end of Ashland, and starting with the fire on Ringo Street a few years ago. We had a nice outing up there last year. The kids came, had a blast, and you know, we just have to keep putting some resources in, especially that neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Of course, you all well said in honor of these individuals, and I am excited about, we videoed last week, State of the City address for 2025. My Town TV did that, and we're excited about that being out any day, and we'll actually put that out on our website and our social media. But we're excited about the accomplishments that we had for 2025, and I'm excited about sharing it with everybody because we're very proud of this commission and what they've been able to do. I want to plug our middle school. They have a time tunnel, and this year it's called Heritage on the River, and it's about the history of Ashland going along with our America 250 celebration. And that's going to be April the 11th and starting from 10 to 4. And I encourage everyone to go there and support the kids doing that. Along with that same line, the DAR conducted a essay and a visual arts contest, and we have the winners already chosen. We'll have those at the next meeting and be able to honor those kids for what they have done. Also excited about a new bus app that our finance department has got it running now. And matter of fact, I downloaded it the other day and started playing with it, and it's going to be outstanding where it can track all the buses, because I thought it was so confusing. If I wanted to go to Catlettsburg or go to the grocery store, it was hard for me to even get in there and look at which bus do I catch, what time did it come through there. But this will correct all of those problems, and we'll put that out in a media campaign and make sure that everybody has that in line to be able to get the app. We do have a couple of proclamations that I'd like to read. The first one, if we can have our ladies from the American Red Cross come up.
You can come up too if you
We're
want.
so proud of what you all do all the time, and we're so happy to be able to do this again this year as being Red Cross Month. Whereas in March, we celebrated the Red Cross Month by honoring the neighbors and the volunteers who make the humanitarian mission of the American Red Cross possible in Ashland, Kentucky. And whereas for 145 years, the American Red Cross has embodied a compassionate spirit of service, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help cannot wait. And whereas the dedicated individuals to the American Red Cross Tri-State Chapter faithfully serve our community during times of emergency, delivering shelter, food, and comfort to families impacted by disasters, ensuring a safe and life-saving blood supply for patients facing cancer treatments, childbirth, complications, traumatic injuries, and other serious medical conditions, supporting the military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global assistance, and empowering citizens with life-saving skills such as first aid and CPR. And whereas these collective efforts demonstrate that the strength of Ashland lies in our shared commitment to care for one another, ensuring that no one faces an emergency alone. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Chuck D. Charles, by virtue of the authority invested in me by the laws of the city of Ashland, Kentucky, do proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. Congratulations, please. And I do have one other with some individuals I'd like for them to come up, for Kathy and Dan DeVola.
Correct.
We're so happy and excited about your commitment that you've had both with the American Red Cross and our community. And with this proclamation, whereas Dan and Kathy Zolo have demonstrated extraordinary commitment, compassion, and leadership through their service to the American Red Cross, becoming indispensable contributors to both the local community and the national mission. Kathy has served for 3 years as a dedicated Red Cross board member, providing exceptional leadership, support, and guidance to advance humanitarian efforts throughout the region. And whereas Dan began volunteering with the American Red Cross in February 2024, and together with Kathy, they have deployed 7 times, 5 national deployments and 2 within the Central Appalachian region, offering virtual assistance to individuals and families facing devastating disasters. And whereas Dan and Kathy serve as an active member of the American Red Cross Action Team for the Tri-State. Whereas Dan volunteers as blood transport specialist and preserving life-saving blood products to hospitals and supporting the health and safety of patients in urgent need. Whereas Dan and Kathy exemplify the highest ideals of humanitarian service, inspiring both volunteers and community members to their leadership, teamwork, and steadfast dedication to improve lives. And whereas the City of Ashland wishes to recognize and honor these exemplary citizens whose actions strengthen our community and represent the best of the service to others. Now therefore, I, Chuck D. Sherrill, Mayor of the City of Ashland, do hereby proclaim March 26th as Dan and Kathy Zolola Day. Sorry about that.
Happy to serve.
Yes, ma'am. We have one other, and Marty, we went and bought the most expensive card that we could for your birthday.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, let's move into our city manager's report.
Thank you,
Grub?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our presenter this meeting is Director Chris Pullum over Community Development.
Thank you, City Manager, and
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Mayor and Commission, for allowing me this opportunity to address you here today. And also want to thank Eden McKenzie, who's been providing you with timely economic development updates. And I certainly appreciate her efforts. And that's why today I can sort of take a turn from economic development and talk to you about an issue that's been discussed in our community and other communities around Kentucky for at least since this General Assembly passed a bill that led to statute KRS 100.348, which deals with the treatment of manufactured homes within single-family residential zones. And that's why that's been a concern. And if you haven't been tracking it, we certainly have in our department, is many people saw that as great. Now I can put a mobile home in a single-family neighborhood and just go with it and move on. That's not it. When you get into the meat of this statute, that's certainly not what it allows. It defines the difference between a mobile home, a manufactured home, and a qualified manufactured home. And I'll try to get through this pretty quickly because it is pretty simple to understand once you read through the statute. But if you want to look at a manufactured home, it is constructed by a certain minimal HUD code standard, but there are other things that are left out of that manufactured home designation that are included in the qualified home designation that I want to go over. First off, manufactured home, mobile home, when you look at them aesthetically, they look very similar. The difference, mobile homes were built pre-1976. That's why they have the designation of mobile home. That means they are not constructed with those minimal HUD code standards. After 76 are the standards. That's what gets them to manufactured home. But then this other category of qualified manufactured homes is what's allowed in single-family residential in the state of Kentucky. And I'll go over just a couple of differences for qualified manufactured homes. They have to be constructed no sooner than 5 years before installation of the property. So you can't mothball them, build them, and sell them if it's If they were constructed outside of 5 years from permanent placement, then they would not qualify as a qualified manufactured home. They must be at least 20 feet wide at their narrowest point. They must be at least 900 square feet, and all mobility features have to be removed. And another thing with qualified manufactured homes is through that statute, it gives cities an opportunity to add some compatibility standards to their zoning ordinance to address other issues that may occur in a single-family residential zone. As you see right there, that's just a basic graphic of what I was talking about. You can see the differences aesthetically between what you would call a mobile home or manufactured home and a qualified manufactured home. You can see there's an aesthetic difference in how that might look in a neighborhood and affect property
I
values.
remember when they were going through this statute that the biggest problem was we were not going to be able to inspect plumbing, inspect electrical, and I guess that was going to be done through the state?
Right. Well, we still have to inspect how the foundations are affixed to the ground. With these types of homes, it's a lot different than stick-built. Stick-built, all the load is transferred to the outside walls. Everything in these homes, it's all sort of centered in the center point underneath by steel beams. So that's where the permanent foundation comes into play. But the most important detail is that this statute gives us the ability to set our own compatibility standards. And I'll read this one part to you. The compatibility standards shall be designed to ensure that when a qualified manufactured home is placed in a residential zone, it is compatible in terms of assessed value with existing housing located within 1/8 of a mile of that property. So essentially, it must fit into the aesthetic theme of that neighborhood so it doesn't affect negatively property values around it. The way we can set those standards, as you can see, the highlight, well, you really can't see. I'm really bad at judging the size of my font in presentations. I apologize for that. But we can address things such as roof pitch, square footage of livable space, type and quality of exterior finishing materials, foundational skirting, that's a big one. We can make it so that it must appear like a single-family residential home instead of a manufactured home through that skirting around the perimeter of the house. Existence of any type of attached structures, we can change our zoning ordinance to address those issues and some other things with setback restrictions and so on. So what do we need to do next? Well, if you take a look at it, we're going to have to go ahead and amend our zoning ordinance to comply with this KRS. And Catherine Utzinger has been working on that. That'll go in front of you for consideration here at a future meeting. We have to also adopt language to narrow those compatibility standards so we've got some control over the aesthetic value of the property and the qualified manufactured home that goes onto that single-family house. And those can't be designated just to manufactured homes. It has to be for all single-family residents. So we're being very careful how we look at that. Catherine's talking to other communities who have already done this to get some examples of how they've done it to address it so it doesn't impact developers too negatively going forward. And then, we have to also write into that the approval process locally for local ordinances, building codes, things like that. That'll all be rolled into that zoning ordinance. So we're working on that. That'll be in front of you at a future commission meeting. And then while I've got you here and we're talking about housing, I thought I would also bring up a couple questions that we get often about tiny homes. The first question we get is, can you build a tiny home in Ashland? Absolutely. You can do that right now. There's nothing stopping anyone from building a tiny home in Ashland on any piece of property. We have nothing in our building code that sets a minimum square footage for construction. And what a lot of people think of tiny homes is that I can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy one of those storage units and convert it into a tiny home. Well, that's my next question. Can you convert one of those into a tiny home? I mean, I guess technically you could. It's a very expensive venture because it still has to meet all modern building codes and standards, still has to have plumbing inspection, electrical inspection, and so on. Our building inspectors have to inspect construction. You need your final CO. I mean, it is a long process. So you do need the building permit, as the next question shows, in order to build a tiny home. Can it go on a non-conforming lot? If you look at East Ashland right now, we have a lot of non-conforming lots, meaning that the width of the lot is too small to build a traditional single-family house. That's not actually true. You can build single-family houses on those, but you still need to.
It's a shotgun type house.
Right. You still have that 4-foot setback you need to have on both sides between residential property lines. But those are perfect sites for tiny homes. So you can definitely build on non-conforming lots. And then the final question we get is about building tiny home communities in the city of Ashland. Also allowed. That would go through the same process that we put any developer through for a planned unit development. That's what PUD, planned unit development. So that would have to go in front of the Planning Commission for approval. Every structure in that development would have to meet a modern building code. So that can happen. It would go in front of the Planning Commission, and then it would come in front of the City Commission for final approval. So that hopefully will clear up a few issues that I know that are out there in the community that we get asked a lot. You probably do too. And if anyone out there in the public has a thought of developing qualified manufactured housing or tiny homes, certainly give us a call before you start. We can help you walk through the process so you don't misstep and waste money along the way. That would be me, it would be Catherine Utzinger, or it would be Scott Neese. And if you have any questions, I'll entertain them.
Can you bring a tiny home in on a truck?
So again, you can, but it must meet all modern building code when you do. So it would have to be inspected, all the footers, headers, foundation. If it's a residential unit, it has to have a permanent foundation.
It has to be on block foundation.
It has to be on a permanent foundation,
Okay.
yes.
What about containers, like the Carroll Jackson thing that I saw
Yeah.
taken off with a crane?
Right, again, it would have to meet all modern building code. So, I mean, there's several ways to go about it, but it would have to meet modern building code. And the first thing I would do is advise anyone who has a plan, whether they're going with container housing or what you just mentioned with the, off-site construction, contact Scott Neese or Greg Weston or Catherine Utzinger first and get some direction from them. Because it's you can't just say, yes, you can, because there's so many different nuanced levels to that it's difficult to just say, if I say, yes, you can, I think I might be giving the wrong
So
impression to
many
people.
different variables.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Excellent report.
Thank you, Mr. Pullen.
thank you.
That's
Conclude your report?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And let's move into our public participation. This allows individuals to address the commission on anything that's not on the agenda. You're allowed 5 minutes, and we have a timer with going on here. If you'll state your name and your address.
Sebastian Joy, 3850 Kobe Lane, Ashland, Kentucky. I want to start out by two things. I want to thank the Ashland Parks Department. I have two boys who played for Ashland Middle School. We didn't have a venue to play. The team manager called the Parks Department. I believe it was Miss Berry. She was very kind and got the field ready at AK Steel Park in less than 36 hours notice. Had it all striped, marked, ready to go, and they were able to have a game against Round County last Saturday. So we want to thank the city and Ms. Berry in particular. Second of all, thanks to the city Economic Development Director, Chris Pullum. I've been wondering about this tiny homes thing myself for several months. That was going to be a question that I had, so it answered a lot of questions for me. We have a few lots in the city that are sitting empty. That might be something that we may look at. So, which brings me to my third thing, which is the main thing I was here for. Some of you guys may know I'm an investor in the city. For the past 6-7 years, I purchased several properties, remodeled them, and sold them. I built my house a year and a half ago outside the city limits. In 10 months, from the day I broke ground, I moved in 10 months later. That would never happen in the city of Ashland. Never. You guys, all of you guys, and I've talked to some of the city commissioners, you all really need to take a look at the non-commonsensical approach that we have right now towards code enforcement. Code enforcement is a huge impediment for every investor who is coming into town right now. Not because we don't want to follow code enforcement and their regulations, because commonsensically, it makes no sense what they are doing right now. With every single investor that I've talked to in this city, who invests money in the city, has the exact same issues with code enforcement. And I'm going in front of code enforcement next week. But I just want to give you a brief overview. I purchased a property at auction on March of 2025, a year ago. Paid $3,000 for that particular property. It was condemned when I purchased it. It was in horrible shape on Cellar Street. It was probably the worst house on Cellar Street. I got the master commissioner deed mid-September, approximately 6 months ago. Started remodeling it completely the day we started got the master commissioner's deed in our name. We got permits for electrical, got permits for plumbing. We've redone all of it. But yet I get a $250 fine 2 weeks ago. And I get a letter from the city or the code enforcement saying, here's a $250 fine. Doesn't say why. So you got to call the city code enforcement and ask them, what's the fine for? Oh, well, because you guys have had 6 months, you haven't done anything to the property. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth if you just look at the permits that's been pulled and approved by the state electrical inspector and the plumbing inspector. So, common sense, I tell my kids this every day, common sense, use your common sense. I tell jurors every day when I'm in trial, use your common sense. But our code enforcement cannot use common sense. Why? I mean, every single one of us in this room, we all have common sense we rely on. Use it. If they drive past that property, they see there's people doing work there every day. That house is nothing as what it was when I purchased it in March of 2025. I mean, I'm investing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and just like many other investors. But why cannot they use their common sense when they're looking at these properties? That's all I'm asking. I just ask you guys, as the city commissioners, as stewards of this city, as people like me, we want to invest our money in the city because we get good returns. But at the same time, there is a limit to what we're going to do. And like I said, look at me. I want to build a house right outside the city limits for a reason. That's how much in property taxes you just lost. Just because I knew I could never get something like that done in 10 months. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments, and,
Thank you.
well, if you can look into that and maybe
made a note
report
of it.
back to us,
Made a note of it.
city manager. All right, anybody else like to address the commission? All right, hearing none, we'll move into our old business. Item A, Mr. Wheeler.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Cosby Construction LLC for the Ferry Street and Pollard Road Sidewalk Project, increasing the contract in the amount of $18,000 for the Department of Community and Economic Development and paid from the Community Development Block Grant Funds.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item B.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 2 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and CTB Inc. for the Ashland Senior Center Storefront Rehabilitation Project, increasing the contract in the amount of $1,787 for the Department of Community and Economic Development.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Do we know when this project will be complete? Does it say it on here?
April 30th.
April 30th? I see it.
Yeah, never mind.
It's up the top there.
All right, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland and the William E. Robinson Living Trust regarding a construction encroachment on 10th Street at 1001 Winchester Avenue for a patio and outdoor dining at Good Morning Breakfast and Brunch LLC on the city's right-of-way.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky closing a 15-foot alley located between the 13th and 14th Street running parallel to Winchester and Carter Avenues in the City of Ashland, Kentucky.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item E.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a mutual aid agreement between the City of Ashland, Ashland Fire Department, and Boyd County Emergency Management, and repealing ordinance number 139, series of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item F.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Boyd County Sanitary Landfill, Inc., Rumpke, for a suitable landfill location for the receipt and disposal of compacted garbage and refuse, rubble, and rubbish collected by the City of Ashland for a period of 1 year in an amount not to exceed $23.74 per ton for the Department of Public Services, Division of Sanitation.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item G.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Ashland and Boyd County Sanitary Landfill, Inc., Rumpke, for the disposal and/or hauling of the sludge from the City of Ashland wastewater treatment plant and water treatment plant for the Department of Utilities.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into our consent agenda.
A resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of March 26, 2026.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I'd like that, Michelle, on item G, on the payment to Judy. Does Judy, on the wastewater treatment plant, is that its own separate account within the city's finances? Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? New business, item A.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract between the City of Ashland and Service Pump and Supply in the amount of $78,848.57 for the removal and replacement of blower units at the 10th Street and 26th Street pump stations for the Department of Utilities, Division of Wastewater Collection.
So moved. Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 2, final adjusting between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Southern Ohio Trenching and Excavating, Inc., decreasing the amount of the contract for the Spring Park Sanitary Sewer Project in the amount of $60,920 and increasing the length of the contract 46 days for the Departments of Utility Operations and Engineering.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 2, final adjusting between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Gullet Sanitation Services, Inc. for the Ashland Water Treatment Plant Removal and Dewatering of Reservoir Solids Project, increasing the contract in the amount of $142,960.12 and increasing the length of the contract 56 days for the Departments of Utility Operations and Engineering.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Yeah, I would like to go up there and take a look at this, Mr. Hall, if we get a chance.
I would like to ask, how much was removed and how did that compare to what we wanted removed?
I think it was, I want to say,
450 cubic yards.
yeah, which is not what we wanted to have removed. The weather actually caught up with us, and we just had to refill the reservoir. But we do have a plan going forward where we think we can make some piping changes and discharge this sludge directly into the sewer system at a significant savings. No contractor involved, and we will be able to treat it.
That sounds promising.
We're going to look at with the savings.
In the future, can we get a microphone for the back of the room?
No, you're good.
Oh, I can hear you now, but if the room was full.
In the future. In the future, they're going to come up front.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item D,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Brentag Mid-South, Inc. for the purchase of liquid caustic soda at a price of $1.149 per gallon and sodium hypochlorite at a price of $1.7700 per gallon, for the Department of Utilities Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item E,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Kimwright Incorporated for the purchase of potassium permanganate at a price of $2.11 per pound for the Department of Utilities Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
motion,
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item F,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Citco Water for the purchase of powdered activated carbon at a price of $1.25 per pound, aluminum sulfate at a price of $1.51 per gallon, and sand at a price of $0.103 per pound for the Department of Utilities Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
So moved.
second. Have a second? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item G,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Evonik Corporation for the purchase of parasitic acid at a price of $0.752 per pound for the Department of Utility Operations Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
motion,
So moved.
second,
Second.
discussion?
I just like seeing these decreases. There's decreases in the last couple here
Keep them coming.
compared to last year's numbers, yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Polydine, Inc. for the purchase of liquid polymer for the water treatment plant at a price of $17.114 per gallon, and for the wastewater treatment plant at a price of $15.308 per gallon, and polymer cationic at a price of $2.48 per pound for the Department of Utility Operations Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
So moved.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item I,
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with USALCO LLC for the purchase of polyaluminum chloride, PAC, at a price of $3.466 per gallon for the Department of Utilities Divisions of Water Production and Wastewater Treatment.
So moved.
Second.
discussion?
Yeah, I join with Commissioner Renfro noting the decrease. One of the items was $13,800 less.
Yeah.
One was $5,900 less and another $8,100 less.
Yeah.
While there were only 3 increases, there were 5 decreases. It's a
Yeah.
pretty significant change.
Oh, no.
Certainly is.
I think overall on the chemicals, they are up $5,000, I think.
Less.
Over the prior year, but that's very minimal.
It is,
Yeah.
for sure.
Very good. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're going to move into these, item J, K, and L. Just a quick note that I'm trying to get all of the boards and all that. We have a lot of them that's not been updated, so I'm trying to update a lot of them. All right.
On item J, you're not filling the Vanover vacancy yet, are you?
No.
Is that correct?
No. Item J?
The mayor requests the board's concurrence on the appointments of Kim Jenkins and Charlie Holbrook to the Park Board with terms retroactively effective October 18th, 2025 and expiring October 18th, 2027.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Item K.
The mayor requests the board's concurrence on the appointment of Daryl Smith to the Code Enforcement Board for the term retroactive to March 1, 2026 and expiring March 1, 2029.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item L.
The mayor requests the board's concurrence on the appointment of Sean McDaniel to the Board of Zoning Adjustment for a term retroactive to February 28, 2026 and expiring February 28, 2030.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Just your comment, Commissioner Martin, I'll probably bring that to the replacement to the next one for Mr. Vanover.
Great, thanks.
All right, a motion to go into an executive session to discuss a individual personnel matter.
And one pending litigation, or
Okay.
potential litigation.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I want to make mention, Mayor, first of all, I want to thank Sean Murray and Amber for getting the lights put back on. There was hundreds of pickleballers out there the other night, and the lights had gone out, and they called me, and you made quick order of it. Thank you very much. Secondly, the sod on Winchester Avenue looks tremendous. It looks clean, it looks tailored, it really looks great. And the third thing, I want to adjourn the meeting in memory of Brooklyn Johnson and Bob Vanover.
Yeah, and I'm going to add Brooklyn to that adjournment too,
Yeah,
in
that's
memory.
what I said.
All right, executive. Okay, we're back in session from our executive session for the individual personnel matter, and no action was taken. And so we are going to recess our meeting today for our work session, April the 1st at 1 p.m. And we do want to recess in memory of Brooklyn Johnson, who is a niece of one of our bus drivers, and her house was also burnt, and also with Bob Vanover, who for a long time was, when we just took in his resignation from the park board, and passed away shortly after that. So with that.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
Chief Alec, if you would, and I think I can speak for the commission on this, extend to the volunteer fire departments throughout the area. We appreciate so much their help.
Yes, very much.
We've already reached out to them and plan on more communication here later today.
Who were the volunteer fire departments with you?
We had Catlettsburg, Westwood, Russell, that actually responded to the scene to assist us. Summit Ironville and Cannonsburg fire departments assisted with backfilling our firehouses while we were on that incident.
Wow.
Wow. We do want to send our appreciation. With that, we are recessed.